What's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo. Just in case you did not know so, go ahead and do the YouTube stuff. We're talking running backs, fantasy football, start them, sit them. We're going to start with the Thursday night slate of games because we got a lot to talk about. We're talking the Bears and the Packers. For the Packers, you got Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams. You're not going to be starting Jamal Williams. Aaron Jones, very interesting, but facing a very difficult task. Being it's the Bears defense, I think he's a flex play. If you plan on starting him anyway, go ahead and start him at that running back 2. Don't put him in the flex since the flex has that flexibility. Wonder why they call it that. But I would say he's a flex play. Now looking for the Bears, David Montgomery. Phew, man, nothing would be more terrifying if you're a David Montgomery owner. If first carry of the game goes to Mike Davis. Though in this game, I would think David Montgomery, he is a start. He's a start. Tariq Cohen, I kind of want to see what his what type of opportunities he gets in this game and kind of like weigh that is what to do with him. Right now, I would sit him. Now, we're going to be talking about the next game, and that's my Dolphins against the Ravens. Mark Ingram, I think he's a start. I think Gus Edwards actually too is he could be a flex play here. Because I think they're going to have this game in hand early and they're going to run the football. Because you know what? This team runs the ball anyway. And if they're up, they're going to be running the ball. Dolphins, though, you got Kalen Ballage and, man, I've already forgotten his name. Kenyon Drake. Kenyon Drake's a little beat up. I don't know if he's game time decision, but he wouldn't be a starter anyway here because Kalen Ballage, for all intents and purposes, is the starter here. I don't like him in this game against the Ravens. I think they're going to get behind early and they're going to be trying to pass to catch up. So, guess what? Dolphins players, you probably shouldn't start them. Just saying. Now we're talking about the Titans versus the Browns. You got Derrick Henry and Dion Lewis. I don't think Dion Lewis is a start this week. Derrick Henry, though, I think is. I think they're going to be a little more committed to the run game, which means they're going to be more committed to Derrick Henry. And for the Browns, you got Nick Chubb, and Chubb is a start. Surprise, dude. He had a great year last year, and honestly, he's a start every week until what's his face comes back. Until Kareem Hunt comes back. So don't worry yet. I don't even think Kareem Hunt's workload's gonna be that big anyway. Now we're talking the Falcons versus the Vikings. Both running backs for me are starts. Dalvin Cook and Devontae Freeman. As for their backups, though, the Falcons, you can care less about their backups. This goes through Devontae Freeman. But interesting situation you got with Dalvin Cook because you think there might be the injury, so you might want Alexander Mattison maybe as a cuff or even take him thinking he might get the same type of carries as Latavius Murray did last year. I think this is Cook's offense as long as he's healthy. So if you are a Madison owner, wait and see. That's a good safe approach. Bills versus Jets. Frank Gore, David Singletary. I don't feel good about either of those. We don't know what the workloads are. Probably going to be Frank Gore heavy. He has a knack for just carrying the ball more than his younger counterparts. And for the Jets, Le'Veon Bell, he's a start. It's a tough start. He's probably like maybe a running back 2 against a very tough Bills defense, but he does have the reception upside as long as Ty Montgomery's not taking any of that from him. Redskins versus Eagles. AP, Darius Guice, who's going to start? What's the workload going to look like? You know what? They're facing the Eagles anyway. Tough front 7. I think neither of those guys are a start. I would rather start Miles Sanders for the Eagles out of any of the running backs in this matchup. Jordan Howard, honestly, this is a bit of a scary matchup because you don't know what the workload is going to be for Miles Sanders and Jordan Howard. But I would go with the upside. I would sit Jordan Howard this week until I'm sure he's going to get carries. But I would start Miles Sanders because I know they're going to give him opportunity. Rams versus Panthers. Christian McCaffrey, you already know it. He's a start. Todd Gurley, he's a start. Let's be serious. He's not going to have the same amount of touches as he did in the past few years, but he is a definite start. They give him the ball with opportunities to score. Darnell Henderson, his essentially the third string quarterback or running back, because Malcolm Brown, I believe, is the backup there. So I would sit both those guys. We don't know what a workload's going to look like. Malcolm Brown. Knew it. Why do I question myself sometimes? Because it's always good to question yourself. Chiefs versus Jaguars. Leonard Fournette. He's going to be facing a tough tough defensive line from the Chiefs. You got Chris Jones. Frank Clark is an excellent run defender. I still think he's a start here because he's about all they got on offense. That's not fair. He's all they got on as far as the running game. That's more accurate. Excuse me. But Damian Williams, man, what are we gonna do? He fell to the 5th round in my draft I just had Sunday. Blew my mind. Didn't even know he was still on the board. Suddenly they bring in LaShawn McCoy, and it's like, oh, what are they gonna do with Damian Williams? Oh, that does scare me. I think he's still a start here. But I would be wary with the storm that may be LaShawn McCoy incoming. Talking Colts and Chargers, Marlon Mack, Nyheim Hines. I don't like either in this matchup. I have a feeling that we're gonna be seeing close to 40 passes from Brissett. Not gonna Marlon Mack. He's not involved much in the pass game. That's what they have Nyheim Hines for, and you know what? Nyheim Hines might be the higher upside play, but being week 1, I kind of want to sit back and see who actually gets those opportunities, gets those touches before I make a more educated decision, you know. So sit those guys. Man, Austin Eckler and Justin Jackson. I think they're both starts. Melvin Gordon's not in town. Austin Eckler is probably the pass back, but I think he's gonna get. It's going to be close to a 50-50 split. So I think both guys are very viable for this matchup. Let's talk Bengals versus Seahawks. Joe Mixon. I don't deny the talent. I deny the team. And then their opponent, man. Phew. That's going to be the Seahawks, they're a very well-coached team despite all the talent they may lose. But I say lose. They just got Javon Clowney. Oh my gosh, dude. That's wild. He's one of the best run defenders. I don't feel good about Joe Mixon in this matchup. Joe Mixon was on my going into this draft. Do not draft. Do not touch. Just because I don't trust the Bengals. So I would say controversial, and you probably spent a 1st or a 2nd round pick on him, but he's a sit this week. Chris Carson, however, you started that bad boy. They're talking he might get 50 targets this year in the pass game. Sign me up. That's why I went out and I got Chris Carson, because I love Chris Carson. Rashad Penny, I think he's still going to get adequate rushes in this game. So go ahead. He could be a start for you as well if you really need another running back. Giants versus Cowboys. Saquon Barkley. He's a start. Gets a little more murky though with the Giants, or with the Cowboys, I should say, because Zeke might be coming back. And I'm one of the guys that kind of jumped on Tony Pollard prematurely. Surprise, surprise. But I don't think even if Zeke is ready before Sunday, I don't know if they'll play him. They might, even if they do play him, they might play him sparingly. I think Zeke is a sit until we know more. So keep tabs on this whole contract and hold on. They say he might be getting 6 years, $90 million. Ridiculous. But I think Tony Pollard is a start this week. Even if Zeke signs this week, I think they'll probably give Pollard a majority of the handoffs as they get Zeke back with the team and, just hanging out, being buddy and friends, getting into practice because they haven't seen him. What, they've been watching the Cabo freaking highlight reel he might have? No, they aren't. They want to see him in practice. So unless he returns to the team this week, Tony Pollard is the start. There, I said it. Maybe I'm just saying it because I really want to believe it, because I got Tony Pollard on like three of my teams. Oh, we're talking about the Lions and the Cardinals. Kenyon Drake, he is a start. CJ Anderson, however, I would firmly put him on the bench because you don't know what that split's going to look like. I'm hoping it's not a 50-50 split or even a 75-25. I want to see Kenyon Drake get all the opportunities. Cardinals, though, David Johnson, he's a start. He's going to be a weapon for this team. I think he's finally going to be, after last year not being used in the pass game at all, he's going to finally be brought back and utilized there as well. 49ers versus the Bucks. No Buck running back should be a starter. There, I said it. Even if you have one, put him on the bench. Take the wait and see approach. However, Tevin Coleman and Matt Breida, I think they're both starts here. I think you can't really go wrong. I'm interested to see what the workload will be for both. But I think it's safe to say they should be in the driver's seat in this Tampa Bay game. Steelers versus the Patriots. I have Sony Michel and James Conner both as starts. However, they're backups. Jamil Samuels and potentially Damian Harris and shoot. James White, man. I never feel good about, and I kind of did this with Tariq Cohen, right? Let's have a real moment. All jokes aside, pass catching backs scare me. They terrify me. I just want my running back to run the ball. I just want him to run the ball. It scares me. I had Naheem Hines last year. He had some good games, but majority of the time I'm sitting there, is like, is he gonna touch the ball? Is he gonna get a rush? I was terrified. I don't like living in those places. And I get James White's basically a receiver, but I still don't like being there. You know what? Go ahead, start James White. That long little spiel. You're gonna start James White. Think Damian Harris. Don't start him. Burkhead. Surprised he's still with the team. But Michelle Connor starts. Texans versus Saints. You ain't starting anyone in the backfield for the Texans. I drafted high just because I wanted to see what's going to look like back there. And I mean, Duke Johnson might be like, well, man, he's going to be the pass catching back there for freaking Watson. But you know, Watson's never actually really passed to the backs. It's never been his type of thing. Guess what? In Clemson, they didn't really do it anyway either. Why Travis Etienne doesn't really have too many receptions, even though he has the freaking skill set to be a bona fide playmaker in the passing game. Why am I going on a college football rant right now? Neither here or there. You don't start anyone in that backfield. Alvin Kamara, you spent probably one of the top 4 picks on him. You start in him. Latavius Murray, I think he's a start too. I think he's gonna not necessarily get all of that Mark Ingram workload left behind, but I think he's gonna get a good amount. And he's always played well in that running back 2 role. So go ahead and give him a start if you're a bit unsure. And we got Broncos versus the Raiders. Let's talk about the Raiders because Josh Jacobs is a start. For all intents and purposes, he is the starter there in Oakland, and no one should come close to his carry account. Now for the Broncos, it's a little more murky because Royce Freeman and Phillip Lindsay, I would sit them both this week just to see what their carries, what their workload looks like. Because honestly, week 1, I kind of want to come out with sure things. I mean, nothing's ever sure, but what you can anticipate. Like, I know James Conner is a start for me. I know Chris Carson is a start for me. Damian Williams, I have a few questions. I'm scared what the workload is, but that's as close as to a risque start I would put. You know what I'm saying? I'm just ranting. I'm ranting all over the place. What game am I at? What game? That's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing, and remember, sit Lindsay and Royce Freeman. If you have them, just wait and see. Till next time, be easy, my friends. Later.